John Calvin on Psalm 90, verses 1 and 2. Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hadst formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. As the Israelites had always been pilgrims and wanderers, so God was to them instead of a dwelling place. No doubt the condition of all men is unstable upon earth, but we know that Abraham and his posterity were, above all others, sojourners, as it is, were exiles. Since then, they wandered in the land of Canaan till they were brought into Egypt, where they lived only by sufferance from day to day. It was necessary for them to seek for themselves a dwelling place under the shadow of God, without which they could hardly be accounted inhabitants of the world, since they continued everywhere as strangers, and were afterwards led about through many windings and turnings. The grace which the Lord displayed in sustaining them in their wanderings and shielding them with his hand when they sojourned among savage and cruel nations, and were exposed to injurious treatment at their hands, this grace is extolled by Moses in very striking terms, when he represents God as an abode or dwelling place to these poor fugitives, who were continually wandering from one place to another in quest of lodgings. This grace he magnifies from the length of time during which it had been exercised. For God ceased not to preserve and defend them for the space of more than 400 years, during which time they dwelt under the wings of his protection. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. God is here contrasted with created beings who, as all know, are subject to continual changes, so that there is nothing stable under heaven. As in a particular manner nothing is fuller of vicissitude than human life, that men may not judge of the nature of God by their own fluctuating condition, he is here placed in a state of settled and undisturbed tranquility. Thus the everlastingness of which Moses speaks is to be referred not only to the essence of God, but also to his providence, by which he governs the world. Although he subjects the world to many alterations, he remains unmoved, and that not only in regard to himself, but also in regard to the faithful, who find from experience that instead of being wavering, he is steadfast in his power, truth, righteousness, and goodness, even as he has been from the beginning.